So I've decided that painting will have to wait for another day. That way I can get everything done all at once, including this room. I don't want to have to break out the rollers just yet. So instead, I'm going to do something else that's been bugging me. These tiles here. So I don't know exactly what I was thinking when I did that drop down there. Maybe I thought it would look fine, but it doesn't. I don't like it. See, the beauty of DIY is that you can do something and then change it later. So I'm going to tile from here down, all the way across. I think maybe I thought putting them behind here would look weird, but it'll look less weird than leaving this open. So we're gonna cut some tile today. I know professionals probably have wax pencils. I have a Sharpie, but only because this is glazed. So the Sharpie will last through the wet of the wet saw, but then it just wipes off afterwards. I found that it works. Would not recommend if you don't have glazed tiles. So what I'm going to do is put this shiny side to shiny side and line it up exactly where it needs to be. And then I'm just going to mark it along the edge here. And that tells me the width that I need to cut off. And then kind of the same idea up here to get the height. But I'm going to use another tile to get my straight line there. And that is the size. Next one's a little bit simpler because it's only one straight line, but the way this sticks out just a little bit, I think I can get away with just notching the corner. So actually, I'm going to show you the way that I learned from YouTube on how to mark it when there's an obstruction. What you do, line up a tile on the one directly next to your space, and you put it right on top, and then this one goes on top of that but up against the obstruction. And this one I'm going to put a little bit off to the side because of this, but make sure everything's straight and exactly where you need it to be, and then you mark it. And since that tells me where the obstruction is, and then I just gotta kind of guess about how far I need to notch out this corner to handle that. And I'm just gonna eyeball that. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm not gonna round it off. There's no point. Nobody's gonna be looking that hard at it. So that should fit in there, hopefully. Same thing on this corner here, but you've got 90-degree obstructions. So once again, line this up with the top. Oh, sorry, no. Line this up with your bottom, your next row of tiles. Put another one up there and mark. And that tells you you don't need that. Same thing for over here. We're just assuming this is your space. So line it up to the next full tile. And put this over here against your wall or shelf or whatever you have. Mine's a little wonky because my wall's a little wonky. When in doubt, take more away than you think you need to, because you can just fill it up with a grout or caulk. That gives me my little corner. And I'm actually probably going to take a little bit extra off the top here. Just because that whole row is a little bit too tall. It's in the corner. Nobody's looking. Then I got one more on this corner on this side that I need to do. And I'm just going to make it the same height as this one. Mark it so that you know which way is up. Yeah, most of that won't even be seen because it'll be behind this cabinet, but like that. And I'm not gonna worry about cutting this one down widthwise because again, cabinet. So I'm just going to cut the 45-degree bevel here and slide it all the way in like that and then call it good. I'm also going to mark while I'm at it, while I'm thinking about it, which way the bevel needs to go on the sides here. So it's gonna stick out further here than on the back. And I'll do the same thing on this one, just so I don't forget. All right, let's go cut. Cutting tiles has always been a little bit nerve-wracking to me, mostly because water and electricity. But this thing has done me a very nice service. You can see she's been through some stuff. This is what I used on all of the kitchen tile, and continuing that trend. So what I'm going to do is line up my line with my blade. And I'll move this over. 1. Now, the bevels, which is the part I hate. Only because of this thing. Honestly, my fault for not noticing it. 100% just did that wrong. Wow. Because it should be this way. This is what extra tiles are for. And I'm just going to do this while I have it here. one itself, but it is the linchpin. And I think I'm gonna have to clear out, I put some caulk in that corner, so that's gonna have to be scraped out. But let's make sure. And that looks like it'll work after I scrape it down. Okay. It also looks like I didn't have to put that notch in, which is always nice. Doing extra work. Oh well. This way I guess you can get it out easier if you need to. Oh, wait, there we go. Yeah, that fits. Did not, I needed a little. And it's not like it's unnecessary. This one. It's like this. Could be a little bit bigger, but it's the corner, like the very back dark corner. As long as it's centered and the lines are all straight, it'll be okay. Now that I know everything fits, what I'm going to do is mix up just a little bit of thin set and stick it on. I guess I gotta scrape that. I can see some bits here. I'll scrape this off, mix up some thin set, and then stick them on. Sometimes you can't find the right tools to do the job and you end up using a Starbucks cup and a wooden shim. I have no idea where my mortar mixing stuff is. But I wouldn't use it for this anyway because it's such a small amount. It'd be a waste of time, energy, and everything to have to clean it up afterwards. I'm just going to throw this stuff away. So obviously this is too small of an area to get a notched trowel in. So I'm just gonna kind of lay this on thickly to make sure that my tiles stick well enough. It's not like they're gonna be touched or handled in any way. They're up in this kind of covered corner. So as long as they don't fall off of their own volition, it'll be okay. For this one, actually, I'm gonna leave that one on this side alone for this second because I'll probably just back butter. Yeah, I'm gonna back butter that tile and slide it in. I can't fit this in there. And that's the one I'm going to start with because it's such a weird spot. Okay, I legitimately could not find anywhere that said if you're supposed to grout in the corner or not. I could not find anything that told me what to do, so I'm going to do it anyway. I did not use any spacers on this because I didn't like the way that looked. But you'd have to be at your vantage point to see it. Who's gonna see that? Okay, and last one. Pops in there. I'm looking at the camera. Because again, that vantage point's the right one. Okay, like that. Ignore this because that will be filled in later with grout. Or like a trim piece or something. You won't see it eventually. As long as that stays where I want it to be. Stick it in and pray. Okay, that looks alright. I don't love this corner, but I don't think I love any of this corner. That's fine though. It's pretty flat, pretty straight. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry. And we'll come back and grout it another day, I think. Yeah, so that'll be another honeydew kind of fix-it video, because there are quite a few little spots all around the backsplash where I don't know what happened, but it's like there was a bubble in the grout and it popped, and it's now there's just like a little hole like that. You see that? There are a number of these all around the whole backsplash. The caulk was not a great, it didn't do a good job. It also bubbled. But on top of that, I don't know if you can tell the color. I think you can tell the color variation here, especially right there where it's like yellow. See how that's yellow and discolored, and this is pulling away, and it's just, it's kind of a mess. I have a feeling that it's discoloring because of this wood. I made these countertops out of Brazilian walnut or ipe, thinking they'd be really water resistant. It's a countertop, right? And I oiled them. I used a food grade oil to help them be more water resistant, but they're already really oily, and I think it's leached into the caulk. So I think what I'm gonna have to do eventually is remove all the caulk and then tape it off where it's supposed to be, then use a stain blocking primer on the countertop, and then re-caulk. And then hopefully it'll all stay nice and white. Well, sort of white. That's the other thing. I learned just the other day that the manufacturer who made this grout, they also make a matching caulk. And this is a special order. So I didn't know it at the time, but I probably would have bought it because white just looks awful with this tile. And that's why I didn't use white. It looks white until you put white right next to it. Here's a good example. This one is white, this tile. See? The grout's a little bit off-white. I think it's called like driftwood? Something like that. So it's a very neutral, pale, gray, beige. And it works really well with these tiles because they have both pale, gray, and beige. Doesn't lean too far one way or the other. And I would like for the caulk to match it, because I did the white just because I didn't know I had another option. And now that it's yellow and gross and I know that I have another option, I'm gonna do that. But that's another video. See you then.